ambitions increased, and our target now is 14 million Egyptian pounds. And for economic empowerment, we have started focusing on it because we want to get the citizens finally out of poverty so that they won't depend on aid. We have 25,000 new projects to be funded, 30,000 existing micro enterprises, as well as providing 15,000 job opportunities, in addition to expansion in the cultivation of strategic crops through developing 500,000 small-scale farmers, and we are developing their database now. Regarding food, we are targeting 1.5 million Egyptian citizens in a sustainable manner through monthly food, and also there is the seasonal nutrition that would be provided to the families. As for the financial aid, we are targeting 400,000 families to benefit from pensions, in addition to seasonal financial aid to 1 million families. For health, we are targeting 5 million citizens with different health interventions, in addition to 1 million citizens who would be received by different hospitals owned by the members of the alliance, in addition to 600,000 Egyptian pounds to support government hospitals. For social support and convoys, we have allocated 2 billion Egyptian pounds to target 250,000 beneficiaries. We have a number of long-term strategic goals for the coming 7 years. The first objective is getting the largest number of citizens out of poverty, and our other objective is to complete this experience that is considered to be the first of its kind. We looked at all the development literature, and we find that such an alliance was not established in any country in the world. So we wish to continue with this experience and have a social protection umbrella to assimilate as large number of citizens as possible. And we have a budget of 200 million Egyptian pounds. We are thinking of charity investments, attracting more external funding for development projects to be implemented by the civil society organizations in partnership with the government. We have a number of steps we took to have what enables us to achieve these goals. The idea of expanding the umbrella of the alliance. Now we have 30 service and development entities under this umbrella, and there is direct coordination with all entities through protocols, and geographically we are distributed in 27 governorates, and we have 285 offices linked through a network that exceeds 24,000 grassroots associations. And this is the geographical distribution in 27 governorates. It's very balanced, and we are in remote areas, even in border governments and governorates. Also, the human resources, we have 18,000 employees who receive salaries from the institutions in the alliance. In 2022, we have 251,000 volunteers under the umbrella of the associations of the alliance or grassroots associations, and we have 14,000 volunteer leaders. They are young people who are able to mobilize other volunteers. The volunteers who participated with us in 2021, 251,000, and they gave us the most valuable thing, which is time. And when we calculated their volunteering hours, they found that these are 39 million hours, and this made us save 56 million Egyptian pounds, because if these services would have been provided by specialized companies, the cost would have been higher. And also the solvency of the civil society organization is flexible and enjoys governance to benefit from every pound, and this is being audited regularly. the presence of the digital system for civil work, we were able to provide 213,000 grants, and we coordinated the provision of monthly aid with the Ministry of Social Solidarity and other ministries. And we are able now to identify the citizens who receive the seasonal aid. And these are some photos from some statistics from the Alliance, the civil society organizations, and the data analysis to the citizens. And also in this system, we have an interactive system. Any organization can add the information about the beneficiaries so that we can draw a clear map for our action in Egypt and to measure our impact. The national program for building the capacities of civil society organizations will be implemented in partnership with the National Academy for Training. And during 2023-2024, we are planning to train 1,000 medium enterprises to provide this training also to the grassroots associations in different governorates due to our responsibility towards them, because they cannot be just executive arms that implement the plans of the other associations, but they need to have independent plans. We need also to develop their performance because they work with the citizens on most important files, health, education, and others. We would like to invite Your Excellency to participate with us in the biggest event for social protection next March with the participation of 15,000 volunteers, and we wish that you would attend this event to mobilize 4 million boxes. And once more, we thank you for your continued support to the civil society. Thank you very much. When the whole world has been through the difficulties, it was Egypt that was able to be the safe haven. And this made the whole world go through difficulties. That's why the idea of food security has always been a priority. Food quality is always our first step regarding development. And to know more about the efforts of the National Alliance in this element, we listen to Mr. Mohsen Sarhan, the executive chairman of the food bank. Your Excellency, the President Sisi, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Mustafa Al-Bouli, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, representatives of the Parliament, leaders of civil society organizations, distinguished guests, peace be upon you. In my name and on behalf of the Alliance and the whole sector, I would like to emphasize to all Egyptians that the civil society is a vivid, strong sector that insists on doing everything that is needed to deliver its message. We are not working on our own. The civil society in Egypt works with tens of grassroots associations everywhere in Egypt, and millions of Egyptians who support the civil society a year after the other, and also thousands of volunteers and employees who try to add a value to the lives of people. I'm proud to be here with you today and with the colleagues from the Alliance, and I'm glad to have with me a number of our partners who were able to serve. Many happy returns, Your Excellency the President, and may the next year carry everything to people. The year 2022 was a turning point in the history of the Egyptian civil society. The President announced it to be the year of the civil society, and this made us all proud that we are working in this sector. Secondly, 2022 was the year of establishing this alliance on the basis of love and the desire to serve human beings. I'm proud to be a member in the Alliance, and I'm proud of the friendships I made through the Alliance, and proud that we were able to serve together people and to prove that we can work as one unit, one hand, one arm, and one mind to serve our country. And this year, thanks to God, we're able to serve 25 million Egyptians in 3,000 villages regarding food security, and we implemented this through a scientific plan in line with the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, especially target to ending hunger. And it is based on first the provision of food, and through it we serve 24 million citizens through 60 million tons of food, and we have supported the bread program, and we are seeking to serve the families that cannot work, or like the dependent women, the elderly people, and those who have chronic diseases and cannot work. And in this file, we are not just trying to feed the family, but we are trying to provide them with balanced, safe food. If we talk about food, that we provide a food that can give the mother the ability to think of a better health for herself and her children. And the second element was protection, and we served 70,000 children through main interventions. The first is in the beginning of the pregnancy up till the delivery of the baby and until he reaches 2 years old, to avoid stunting because of malnutrition. So we try to healthily feed the mother, because this decides what would be the future of this child and his options in the future, even before he's born. And afterwards, through the daycare centers affiliate to the Ministry of Social Solidarity, as well as the kindergartens, elementary schools and preparatory schools, to provide a meal to the family. So these meals provided to the children provide him with 30% of the nutrition he needs per day to help him and to have a healthy generation. And now we'll on air see one of the central kitchens of Egypt's food bank that serves Id-Mirdash School for elementary education, and how we serve also kindergartens in Al-Asmarat. Peace be upon you, Mahmoud. Thank you, Mr. Mohsen. Good morning, Your Excellency, the President. I'm Mahmoud Salah, and I'm the director of the central kitchens of the Egyptian Food Bank. Here we provide meals to the kindergartens and the daycare centers in Al-Asmarat, and the meals are suitable to what the children need. That's why we have main nutritional elements through the grounds and the components of this meal, so that the children would have a balanced meal according to their needs between the age of 3 till the age of 12. Thank you, Mahmoud. Thirdly, empowerment. We helped more than 71,000 farmers through 71,000 fedans. This element adopts one of the mechanisms of the private sector, which is the social corporate responsibility. This mechanism tries to engage the deserved people in the supply chains, and we can give him a good alternative to the financial direct aids. An example, we in the food bank have put a KPI. Over 3 years, we will turn more than 80% of our purchases to be directly from small farmers and small suppliers. And this would make us to secure a balanced, fair market, and we can purchase at a lower price to serve more people by saving that money. And finally, we are focusing on intensifying the volume of our work. We are developing also internal auditing systems. And in the year of the civil society, we have launched the code of conduct as well as the rights of the beneficiaries. And this is like a constitution for the work of the Egyptian Food Bank as well as other partner organizations. And today we are deciding how we are going to work and not only what we are going to do. And this code of conduct is based on 5 main pillars. First, identifying the beneficiaries according to scientific standards without any intervention. So the data is the only determined to those who deserve the support. Thankfully, overcoming the social stigma to respect human dignity and deal with the beneficiaries as we deal with our families and family members. Thirdly, we are committed to professional development standards, providing programs and services based on scientific evidence. Secondly, securing for the beneficiaries of free services all rights that any client would enjoy. And fourth, to overcome discrimination because we have one objective, supporting anyone who deserves this on the land of Egypt. And fifth, to be committed in our action with the development approach based on the respect of human rights that says that the beneficiaries are people who have these rights and they are entitled to these rights, and we have the responsibility to give them these rights. Finally, we'll intensify our work on different elements to reach 1.5 million citizens per month and 25 million citizens seasonally this year, and we will also improve the quality of the services and increase the quantity of the services. And we will launch this year the lab of the Egyptian Food Bank, and also we will announce a research that would identify the cost that provides food security. And we'll work also on developing the digital transformation of information, especially regarding transparency, the receipt of services without any influence on the speed or the volume of service delivery. And finally, Mr. President wished that we play a bigger role to achieve self-sufficiency for our country from wheat, and we'll try to work on this objective as much as we can. And through my work, when the Egyptian community faces any pressure, it tries to be up to this pressure and faces and overcomes it. The more pressure is on the private sector and the citizens, the more people give charity and support others. Once more, I would like to thank Your Excellency, and maybe at the end, I would like to say that Egypt's civil society organizations would always be closer to every Egyptian citizen on the land of Egypt. Thank you, and peace be upon you. Community development starts with the development of the human being and his health. And no doubt, health is the real investment for the future. That's why we cannot say that we implemented an integrated development work without working on the health file. They provided services to patients through the state assistance. And this would be delivered by Dr. Hala Salah, the health advisor of the Alliance. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, distinguished ministers and guests, I would like to congratulate you for the new year. May it carry all good for the Egyptians. I'm honored today to introduce to you a briefing about the achievements of the Alliance in the field of health, as well as the efforts exerted to narrow the gap in health services provided to citizens. This is the first time that the higher education institutions and civil society organizations work on one objective: health services under the umbrella of the Alliance. The Alliance worked on health sector and allocated more than a third of its budget for supporting the health services. We have a strong foundation in the Egyptian community of the organizations that support health services, and we cooperated with them in the Alliance, and through more than 3,000 grassroots associations. We communicated with 310 pharmacies, clinics, hospitals, institutes, in addition to the research entities, to provide the services that reach up to 5 million citizens with a cost of 4.9 billion Egyptian pounds. According to the directives of the political leadership, we focused on health, and that the patient who needs would find someone to support him, and we are always trying to improve the health indicators. For the target groups, we did not exclude anyone. We focused on supporting women, children, elderly people, and people with disabilities. Let me introduce in brief the results and the outcomes of 2022 in the field of health. One of the most important activities was the medical convoy. Some of them are to raise the awareness, and others are to examine and treat people. We were able to have 3,500 convoys and 1,360 million, 1,360,000 beneficiaries to reach different places, even Nubia, Halayb, and Shalatin. In these convoys, the team would go and stay for 3 or 4 days to examine the largest number of patients and to provide them with the treatment needed. When these convoys used to go to villages, the eyes of people were sparkling with happiness when they see those people, and they see that you came all this way to treat us. So the convoys reassure villagers and people in remote and border governorates. We are not giving medical services only. Sometimes the patient cannot wait for the convoy. That's why we communicate with one of the entities in the Alliance to refer him to one of the hospitals to receive the service, and these are considered to be treatment convoys, and also they play a role in raising the awareness of the people, especially health awareness to the mothers about good nutrition, how to protect her children and family members from diseases, because always prevention is better than cure. Raising the awareness campaigns reached 2.5 million citizens. The activities are done in the Alliance through 60 specialized hospitals, heart hospitals, tumor hospitals, liver hospitals, and we're able to serve 1,900,000 citizens. The health clinics have an important role because they are working round the clock everywhere. A large number of these health centers work with the Alliance, and even the centers that are not affiliate to the Alliance are being supported by the Alliance through providing tools, medicals, and medications and equipments. We cannot forget also supporting the public and university hospitals who provided 110 million Egyptian pounds to them in the form of supplies and medications. There are other activities done by different institutions. There are certain institutions treat patients, others support families where if the father is not able to earn his living. Some provide prosthetics. And as we established a network that connected the blood banks to different hospitals. Everything is done through the Alliance so that they can see the future plans of each other to reach the largest number of beneficiaries. Cancer patients, this is an important file for the Alliance, and we provided 1,930,000 services to 680,000 beneficiaries with a cost of £1,635 million. And of course, these are the hospitals under the umbrella of the Alliance. Heart diseases, another important file, especially children heart diseases and surgeries. Last year we served 87,000 beneficiaries with a cost of 875 million Egyptian pounds. There is the support to the health sector indirectly. We need to build the capacities of the staff working in these hospitals. So we hold training courses for them. And in the institutions of the Alliance, they realize the role of scientific research to develop the medical services provided. This was a briefing about our achievements, but we have more expectations for the year 2023, and we hope that we'll be able to cover 6 million citizens and to provide assistance of 600 million Egyptian pounds to public and university hospitals and support also the project of a small family. We wanted today, of course, to take a number of activities, but we will see now this from Fayoum. Good morning, everybody. Many happy returns. I'm Ahmed Morsi, the director of Rai Masr for the development, and we are here in Fayoum Governorate from El Hada'a village. Today we have a medical convoy for different fields, and we have also the initiative for early detection of malnutrition symptoms on children, and we here examine the patients and we refer them to hospitals we need, and this is done under the umbrella of the National Alliance for Civil Development work, as this united the civil society organizations to work together. And by the beginning of 2023 we'll continue what we already started, and we'll have an executive plan under the umbrella of the National Alliance to target citizens in all Egyptian governorates. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Thank you, Your Excellency, and we wish that all Egyptians would enjoy a healthy life. Thank you. The ability of the human being to produce is the only guarantee to the sustainability of development action. This is the vision of the Alliance that found that the real support is to learn how to sustain yourself, your family, and the community, and improving the standard of living of the citizen is done through making use of his skills and potentials, and this was reflected in reality to make a change to the families. Mr. Mahmoud Fouad, the deputy head of El Orman Association, would talk to us about that. Your Excellency President Fattah Sisi, the President of the Republic, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Mr. Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, peace be upon you. I will present to you a very important file today that the National Alliance is working on, and it is economic empowerment. The objective of economic empowerment is to move the target groups from neediness to sufficiency and provide them with a good standard of living. Thus, we needed to make a sustainable development impact through including them in the labor market to give them an income. Sustainable development won't be achieved through economic empowerment, as this is directly reflected on unemployment, income, poverty rates, and would secure also diverse economy for Egypt to face the different challenges. In line with the state efforts to localize and achieve the sustainable development goals, the Alliance is seeking through its members to achieve economic empowerment in all Egyptian governorates, according to the following. First, monitoring the needs of every governorate, the competitive edge that supports the different micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as providing training, employment. The main elements for economic empowerment are five. First, funding, and this is done through the assistance of the different enterprises. Secondly, the training, and it is done through training the target groups to help them acquire the skills they need for their enterprises. Thirdly, employment, and this is done through implementing the projects and following them up, as well as solving their problems, and then production that would lead to achieving sustainability. One of the results achieved on the ground in this file of small and medium enterprises is that we implemented on the ground 39,500 enterprises with a total cost £1,185,000,000. We have diverse projects for beneficiaries, like the kiosk that we deliver to people with disabilities and those who do not have any craft. And in 2022, we provided 570 kiosks with a total cost of £14 million. And this project provides 2 job opportunities at least, and its cost is much less than leasing shops, and it can be anywhere because it is small, and this is given to the beneficiaries with the goods and commodities after receiving all the permits and licenses, as well as the implementation of this project. And there are also other projects in the same context, like the grocery, the workshops, sewing shops. And we have also the project of livestock, the breeding of livestock, drying tomatoes, handicrafts, and we've reached 38,000 enterprises with a cost of £750 million. The second file is a very important file, and it is training. Training is considered to be the main tool to achieving economic empowerment. Thus, we implemented a number of training courses for the target groups, the elders, the young men and women, to acquire the skills they need for their enterprises. And we funded these training courses, be it administrative or on handicrafts, and accessibility to labor market, with a cost of almost 4 million Egyptian pounds. We implemented the national project for financial inclusion to raise the awareness about financial literacy and enable the owners of microcredits to use e-payment as part of their enterprises. And this was done in a number of governorates: Sharqiyya, Qalyubiyya, Gharbiyya, Beni Suef, Asyut, and Sohag. And in continuation to the path of the Alliance, efforts to support the state, we are targeting in 2023 to deliver and implement 55,000 small enterprises with a cost 1,650 million. And according to your recommendations last June, to expand the strains and the species of livestock to be given to the breeders, we have two models that we implemented, and we promise you that in 2023 we reach 100,000 livestock. And now on air we will see one of the projects of livestock. Good morning. I'm Dr. Rida Sukkar, the Executive Director of Wafra Farm, owned by one of the institutions of the National Alliance. In this farm we have 1,500 heads, and it is one of the best meat breeding species, and we have also 2,000 other heads, and we have Simmental that is dual purpose, that produces meat and milk at the same time, and this is the first example. And God willing, in 2023 the National Alliance will continue the implementation of the 100,000 heads for small breeders, and we'd like to tell you that the Alliance has an integrated project to implement the initiative and to plant the fodders and improve the Egyptian species, and to support the dairy products factories through cooperation between the private sector, the civil society, and the state to implement the initiative. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rida. We have with us beneficiaries who benefited from small enterprises, and we'll present to you these enterprises. I'm Rida Rajab Hassan. I'm from Beni Qasim village, Beni Suef Governorate. Our project, we have a fund with 10 women, and we formed a group, and we took a loan and rented one fidan that we planted with potatoes, and we harvested the potatoes, sold it to the trader for 3,200 pounds, and we sold it at 4,000 to the factory, and then we expanded the project. We took 2.5 fidans, and we are 45 women who are working together, and we contracted for the seeds, and we are planting wheat and beans now, and we learned how to do it to save water, seeds, and fertilizers. Thank you. In the name of Allah, good morning, Your Excellency. I'm Dalal Al-Husseini from Al-Giza Al-Badrashin, and here to tell people the story. The National Alliance provided me with a job opportunity because I had no opportunity to work, so I received training through the Alliance, and after the training they provided me with the spinning machines, and they helped me with the marketing. They take the product and market it and sell in the exhibitions and fairs, and I'm now training my husband and my children, and I wish that all people would benefit from that as I did. Thank you. Peace be upon you. Good morning, many happy returns. I'm Samir Mohammed Zaghloul from Samanoud Gharbiya Governorate. I received a kiosk, and may I work in it, and may we all work for the best of Egypt. Thank you. Good morning. I am Mahmoud Mohammed al-Bidwi from the Qahliya Shirbin. I received a boat with its net and everything, and I fish, and I'm able to earn my living now and bring up my children. Thank you very much. In the name of Allah, I'm Hanan Mahmoud Ibrahim from Biba, Beni Suef Governorate. I am a widow with 5 children. I have a grocery kiosk. It was small in the beginning, but now it expanded, and this is the source of the income for my family. Thank you. In the name of Allah, I'm Iman Ahmed Abdelail, El Fayoum Governorate. I have 4 children, and Orman helped me, provided me with a cow last August, and it delivered a calf, and it produces 25 kilos of milk per day. Half of it is for its calf, and I sell the other half. And I wish that in the future, instead of having only 1 cow, I will have 2 or 3. Where are you going? I need to thank you all. May God support you. And you are just examples of a large number of beneficiaries from the initiative of the economic empowerment. I thank you for the success you made, and you are now a role model to people so that they see what they can do. So thank you all, and I wish you the best of luck. I do not want to forget to thank all the entities, not just the entities under the umbrella of the Alliance, but all the entities that work in civil society or in charitable action. I would like to thank them in the name of all Egyptians. This is a role that we all need. Today, when there is a civil society organization working, then it is playing a role that the government can do. And we acknowledge this. We're talking about 50,000 civil society organizations in Egypt. And I'm talking here about the entities in the alliance, and I wish that more entities would join the alliance. As the result is expected to be great, as we have seen here, the outcomes and the different files, health, economic empowerment, food security, are great. So the alliance is playing a remarkable role. And we need also to thank all those who contributed to this success, and all those who fund and finance these projects, be it Egyptians or non-Egyptians. We thank them all for their support, as this is done through the support of every person who likes to do something good and want to assist people. And according to the figures that we have seen, the 10 billion pounds or the other figures, these are donations. So we thank them all. And we still need more. We said that 2022 is the year of the civil society. But 2023, and I'm talking to myself, the government and all the institutions, maybe in 2023, we need to exert more effort. Because as you can see, this crisis that we're witnessing is very big and has impacts on the whole world. I've talked about that, and I do not want to repeat myself. This is a big crisis that has a big impact. So if the civil society organizations need to work more in 2023, I think that we need to double our effort in this year. You said that there is 14 billion that you would provide. So I invite everybody to contribute more, and we, the government, from Long Live Egypt Fund or the other funds, should add more to this figure. And I do not want to mention a specific figure, and I want the government to try to help you with implementing your plans. And I congratulate you for everything you did. And I'm always in contact with you. I always talk to these entities and the alliance about economic empowerment. So I'm following up what is done, and I find that these are good ideas. These are very nice ideas that suit the community to work together, take one fiddan and plant it. But when we find someone similar to Miss Rida, then we can give her a whole farm and not just 2 or 3 fiddans.
مش هم لما جابوا لك قالوا لك هناخد البطاطس مش بطاطس برضه تقصدي؟ لما قالوا البطاطس ب 3000 جنيه
when they said that they will sell the potatoes for 3,200, you sold it to a factory rather than selling it to the supplier. So you sold it to the factory at 4,000 pounds. So I congratulate you all once more. Many happy returns. And in 2023, we're looking forward to more civil efforts, because the circumstances are very difficult. I'm being honest here. This does not mean that the state and the government won't play their roles, but I would like to say that things are difficult. I think that people, when they speak, they see things that are not well organized. So I'm telling all the Egyptians to listen to us. It is not that we are more honest, but it is just that we realize the challenges more. The figures, the data, the solutions are submitted by the state. So the others can try their best, but we do not want to cause any confusion and raise the concerns of people. The conditions in Egypt and the whole world are pressurizing people. So we do not want to raise the fear of people more. If I would raise your fear, what would be the result then? This won't be for our good. Can't we as a state and people face any challenge? I said this before in the cathedral. If Egypt is going through a difficult situation, would we give up upon it? And I'm saying this to all those who are listening to me. Would the people of Egypt give up upon it? Haven't we gone through wars in which we wasted Egypt's money? Did we go on any adventures that led to losing our money? The conditions are difficult worldwide. The pandemic COVID-19 for 2 years, and then the Russian crisis. These are 2 things that Egypt did not contribute to, but we are paying the price like all countries worldwide. So stop talking about this. Thank you. And now a short break, and after this we will get back to resume the conference.
اتعلمنا إن إيد لوحدها مش كفاية، وإن اتحادنا دايماً قوة. كل مرة اتحدنا فيها حققنا هدفنا وقدرنا على كل تحدي.
احنا أسرة واحدة، كلنا واحد، محدش يقول انت وانا، احنا. البلد دي هتقوم بينا كلنا، بفهمنا كلنا.
والمجتمع المدني بمختلف تخصصاته ليه دور أساسي في التنمية وفي بناء الإنسان وتحسين مستوى معيشته، وهي دي أهم خطوة في مشوارنا، إننا نكمل بعض.
أنا بوجه رسالة لكل الناس اللي بتشتغل في المجتمع الأهلي. المجتمع الأهلي ده عبارة عن نوايا طيبة وخطط محطوطة علشان تشجع الناس على إنهم يصدقوا إن إحنا كلنا بنكمل بعض في عملنا. وعشان كده أنا بقول لكل الناس إن الناس تهتم بالرسالة دي، كل واحد في الجزء اللي بيخصه، لأن ده اللي بيؤدي في الآخر إن إحنا كلنا ننجح. فلذلك أنا يعني متحمسة جدا للمشروع، ومتحمسة جدا لأن الناس تقدر تعمل يعني رسالة أحسن وأوضح وتوصل للهدف النهائي.
عام 2022 كان عام المجتمع المدني، فكان لازم يكون في رؤية جديدة، نتحد عشان نكون أقوى ونقدر بجد نساعد الناس ونوصل للمستحقين في كل مكان في مصر. ومن هنا اتحقق الحلم، التحالف الوطني للعمل الأهلي التنموي. أكتر من 30 مؤسسة مجتمع مدني قرروا إنهم يتحدوا ويكملوا بعض.
التحالف كان أملاً، حاجات مهمة كنا بنسعى لبنائها بمفردنا، كل مؤسسة وكل جمعية وحدها.
يمكن ده تحول غير مسبوق، أن يتحول العمل الأهلي إلى عمل وجزء من خطة الدولة، وده فكر جديد ومنظومة جديدة وغير مسبوقة.
فكرة ممتازة لتجميع الجمعيات وإعطائها فرصة للتعامل مع بعض.
ممكن يكون في أكثر من 3-4 جمعيات خيرية أو منظمة بيشتغلوا في منطقة واحدة ومنطقة تانية ما فيش حد شغال فيها، فلما نعمل تحالف ده بيخلي الجهود تتوجه لمكانها الصح.
التحالف الوطني عمل بيئة مختلفة في التعامل بين المؤسسات المجتمع المدني، نقلها من التنافسية إلى الشراكة.
والأولوية كانت للدعم الصحي. قوافلنا الطبية لفت كل مكان في مصر، والرعاية الصحية وصلت لكل مستحقيها.
بيطلع أساتذة القصر العيني من كل التخصصات بيكشفوا على الناس في القافلة الطبية، والحالات اللي بتحتاج علاج في المستشفى بيتم تحويلها للمستشفيات، واللي هو بيكتب له مش بيشخص له العلاج ويقول له روح اشتري الدواء، ده بيديله الدواء. او اللي عايز يعمل عمليه بيجي يعمل عمليه في مستشفيات جامعه القاهره ومنها معهد الاورام.
عملنا قافله طبيه شامله بتخصصات طبيه مختلفه، قدمنا الخدمه الطبيه بشكل مجاني لاهالينا في قريه ام دومه، وان شاء الله باذن الله مكملين ان شاء الله في محافظات ثانيه كتير.
في قوافل طبيه بتيجي كشفوا على عيالي وعملوا لهم نظارات.
كان عندي ميه بيضاء على العين، صناع الخير والتحالف خبطوا علينا ولا تعكشوا، خدنا العلاج اسبوع وجو قالوا لنا تمشي تعمل عمليات، فجابوا لنا عربيات لحد البيت ومشينا.
كانت مشكلتي عندي ميه بيضاء وتغيير عدسات، فجت قافله من المؤسسه فعرفت نفسي عليهم، قبلوا لي عملوا لي اوراق وحولوني على احسن مستشفيات في مصر. التحالف الوطني ربنا يبارك فيها ويسعدهم جميعا.
التحالف كان سند في كل المناسبات والظروف، والقوافل الغذائيه وصلت لملايين من الاسر في مختلف محافظات الجمهورية.
نتيجة العمل على أرض الواقع ولقاء التنفيذيين، القاعدة توسعت والخدمات توسعت.
هيجي علينا رمضان، فقوافل رمضان وصل الخير قلنا خلاص هنشتغل مع بعض.
انت شفتوا موضوع القوافل قد ايه كانت جميله وقد ايه كانت تدخل قلوب الناس.
علمني الصيد ولا تعطيني سمكه.
انا قدمت على شغل مع صناع الخير.
كان عندي البيت ما فيهوش حتى سقف ولا في سباكه ولا في كهرباء ولا في اي حاجه، وقعدنا كده طول الصيف وطول الشتاء اكتر من سنه او سنتين واحنا كده.
كنت تعبان بالغضروف، كنتش بقدر اشتغل ولا اقدر اوكل اولادي ولا كده.
عندهم خبر ان انا راجل يعني ذو احتياج وما عنديش دخل، فجمعية أورمان ساعدتني في توصيل وصلة المياه.
دلوقتي الحمد لله ربنا كرمني بصناع الخير، خدوا مني البيت وطلعوني وهم كفلوا بكل حاجة بصراحة يعني، وما اعتنيش هم أي حاجة، واستلمت منهم البيت على هذا الوضع. قدرت تطلعني من اللي أنا كنت فيه، وبقيت أنا في المكانة دي دلوقتي. أنا ذات نفسي مش مصدقة خالص.
أنا بالصدفة كنت قاعدة بتفرج على التلفزيون ولقيت رقم، شفتهم عاملين بيوت زي بيتي كده، واتصلت بيهم وقلت لهم إن أنا مطلقة وعندي ولدين، والبيت بتاعي ما فيهوش سقف وعايزة سقف بس، حتى لو هتعملوا لي تحبكوا لي اوضه بس تحبكوا لي خشب حتى. فبالفعل بعدها باسبوع حد جاني وصور البيت، قلت لهم ليه؟ قالوا احنا هنصب لك البيت. فبصراحه ما كنتش مصدقه خالص. بعدها بيومين بالظبط نزلوا لي الخشب وصبوا لي البيت، شطبوه محاره وكهرباء وسباكه وسيراميك ونقاشه وحاجات انا ما كنتش متخيلها ومش متوقعها اصلا.
لما جم فتحوا الورشه دي بصيت لقيتهم بيخبطوا على بابي وقالوا لي تعالي اشتغلي. انا ما كانش فيه مصدر رزق الاول خالص، فبصراحه لما اشتغلت وفرت معايا كتير وكويسه.
عرفت التحالف ان هي بتعمل حاجات كتير للناس، فجيت اتواصلت معاهم لحد ما وصلت لهم وكلمتهم، قلت لهم انا تعبان ما بقدرش اشتغل، فهم ساعدوني وجابوني التريسيكل.
انا كانت مشكلتي ان الحياه كانت صعبه شويه، وجوزي كان ساب الشغل ورجع يشتغل شغلانه يعني بسيطه ومرتبه يعني بسيط. فانا جيت هنا المؤسسه اتعلمت الخياطه واشتغلت، بقيت اساعد جوزي بيها.
زودنا الدعم للأسر الأكثر احتياجاً وقدمنا معاشات شهرية ل 600 ألف أسرة. وختام سنة 2022 كان قوافل ستر وعافية.
ظهرت قوافل ستر وعافية اللي هي كانت مرحلة أو تغير نوعي في الشغل.
نقعد مثلا 3-4 أيام نجهز، وبعدين الشباب خلاص جهزوا كل الإمكانيات، من مواد تموينية، من ملابس، من بطاطين، من أدوية، من لعب أطفال. إحنا عملنا ما شاء الله فترة قليلة جدا 16 قافلة. إحنا بدأناها بسوهاج ونهيناها برضو بسوهاج، وفي الوسط بقى رحنا الإسماعيلية ورحنا المنوفية ورحنا الشرقية ورحنا الجيزة.
ومع بداية عام جديد نقدر نقول إن نجاح التحالف اترجم لعدد كبير من المستحقين. وده اتحقق بمبادرات لفت مصر كلها.
ودينا البطاطين واللحفه والكلام ده كله في رمضان، الشنط بتاعت رمضان، في العيد اللحوم. من ضمن القوافل وزعنا حلاوه المولد. الناس الحقيقه اتبسطت. شنط المدارس، الناس يعني سعيده ان تلاقي في الاخر حد حاسس بيكي وبولادك، وبان احنا بلد كلنا بنحب بعض.
ضم 600 ألف أسرة جديدة لبرنامج تكافل وكرامة بتكلفة تصل إلى أكثر من 3.5 مليار جنيه.
مبادرة ازرع تم زراعتها تحت مظلة التحالف الوطني بالتعاون مع وزارة الزراعة.
اللي اتحقق في 2022 كان معجزة بكل المقاييس بعد انضمام عدد كبير من المتطوعين والجمعيات لمظلة التحالف الوطني. والهدف التكامل مع رؤية مصر 2030 للتنمية الشاملة، جاهزين بخطط 2023 اللي هتكمل مشوار التحالف وتساعده يوصل لعدد أكبر من المستفيدين. وهنكمل الحلم اللي تحول لحقيقة مؤثرة في أقل من سنة، نوصل لكل أهالينا، ما نسيبش مصري محتاج مساعدة. مدعومين بقوة مؤسساتنا وحماس متطوعين في كل مكان على أرض مصر، وبدفعة رموز العمل الخيري اللي دعمونا في بداية مشوارنا وبنهدي نجاحنا ليهم. الدكتورة أنيسة حسونة، الشريكة المؤسسة في التحالف الوطني، اللي رغم فراقها لينا لكن الطاقة اللي سابتها لنا في التحالف لسه بتقوينا وبتفكرنا برسالتها.
هو احنا هدفنا ايه في الاخر؟ غير ان المجتمع المدني يبقى بيتعاطف مع بعضه البعض، يبقى بيتكامل مع بعضه البعض، وبيجي يحقق الحاجات اللي احنا منتظرينها، مش اكتر من كده. فانا رأيي ده مشروع رائع، ان شاء الله هيجيب نتائج كويسة جدا.
Voilà, je vous rappelle, Madame, Monsieur, que le président Abdel Fattah Sisi a inauguré ce matin la première conférence de la coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement. Cette coalition, qui regroupe quelques 24 associations, organise plusieurs activités afin de soutenir les tranches de la société les plus démunies, surtout dans les villages lointains. La coalition prône le principe de la responsabilité sociétale en adoptant le slogan « Le volontariat est une responsabilité » et en exhortant les institutions civiles à assumer un plus grand rôle dans le développement et la réforme dans divers domaines. Le chef de l'État, le président Abdel Fattah Sisi, a salué les organisations de la société civile, ajoutant qu'elles sont devenues un exemple à suivre. Je vous rappelle, Madame, Monsieur, que les travaux de cette conférence devraient se poursuivre après cette pause et nous allons alors vous proposer une retransmission en direct de la suite de ces activités.
في السباق للعالمية الكل بيجري عشان يوصل للهدف، للمستقبل، وعشان توصل وتنجح ويسمع العالم صوتك ويشاور عليك ويبقى اسمك رقم واحد وسط أكبر الأسماء في العالم. كان لازم نجري، نشتغل، نفكر ازاي نبدع، ازاي نتميز، وهدفنا واضح قدام عينينا، إننا في السباق مش بس نوصل لكن نسبق بخطوة. 4000 مهندس وعامل وفني من خيرة البنائين المصريين واللي أنشأوا محور تحيا مصر في مرحلته الأولى والثانية لربط الطريق الدائري بالطريق الدائري الإقليمي بدأوا العمل في المرحلة الثانية بإنشاء كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم، وكان هدفهم من أول يوم مش إنشاء مجرد كوبري لكن واحد من المعالم المصرية يوصلوا بيه للعالمية. وعشان يحققوا هدفهم اجتهدوا، أبدعوا، وفكروا ازاي يتميزوا في كل تفاصيله، والنهارده نجحوا بمجهودهم والتزامهم وإرادتهم إنهم يحققوا المستحيل ويقدموا أعرض كوبري ملجم في العالم ويدخلوا بيه للعالمية ويتسجل إبداعهم في موسوعة جينيس للأرقام القياسية. يمتد جسم الكوبري الرئيسي بطول 5.6 كيلومترات، بالإضافة ل 10 كيلومترات تشكل إجمالي أطوال 18 من المطالع والمنازل. يتميز ب6 حارات مرورية في كل اتجاه بطول 540 متر وعرض 67.3 متر، ويحتوي على أكبر فتحة ملاحية على النيل بعرض 300 متر. استخدم في إنشائه ما يزيد عن 1,000,000 متر مكعب من الخرسانة وأكثر من 290 ألف طن من الحديد، وبعد تجريبه طبقا للمواصفات العالمية تأكدت قدرته على تحمل أوزان تصل إلى 120 طن. كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم مش بس إنجاز عالمي لكنه بيتميز بجماله وتفاصيله والإبداع اللي فيه، وده لأنه فيه أول ممشى زجاجي في الشرق الأوسط على جانبي الكوبري الملجم وفوق أجمل أنهار العالم نهر النيل. طول ما عينينا على العالمية هنفضل نجري، هدفنا نوصل ببلدنا لمكانتها الأولى وسط العالم. هنا كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم، بداية الطريق للعالمية.
بلد الجمال، بلد البساطة والحلاوة، وتحس ناسها الطيبين آخر نقاوة.
السلام عليكم. هبدأ كده باليمين. ايدي الشقيانة يعني، ايدي الشقيانة اللي بسلم عليها.
ننده تلاقي أهلها لو مين يعوزها، عايزين شهور علشان نقول أسماء رموزها. عادل إمام وسومة والفن العظيم، الباز وهيكل وأنيس منصور الأديب، والشيخ الشعراوي وصبحي ومختار وغنيم، أسماء كتير عايشة ومش ممكن تغيب. الدهلاوية مية مية ناس تقال، انزل لف فيها وقابل أغلاها الجمال، نورها في كل حتة والطبيعة شي خيال، روح الدقهلية تبقى مصنع الرجال. روح الدلتا تلقى فيها مصنع الرجال. ادخل وشوف تاريخها في الحروب دورها، أسطورة وفرضة على الجميع دايما حضورها. نيلها بحلاوته مختلف عن أي حتة، الكل أهل حضن للي في يوم يزورها. عادل إمام وسومة والفن العظيم، البزو هيكل وأنيس منصور الأديب، والشيخ الشعراء وصبحي ومختار وغنيم. أسماء كتير عايشة ومش ممكن تغيب. الدهلاوية مية مية ناس تقال، انزل لف فيها وقابل أغلى الجمال. نورها في كل حتة والطبيعة شي خيال، روح انت أهلية تبقى مصنع الرجال. شوف الدلتاوية مية مية ناس تقال، انزل لف فيها وقابل أغلى الجمال. نورها في كل حتة والطبيعة شي خيال، روح الدلتا تلقى فيها مصنع الرجال.
مبادرة حياة كريمة هي محاولة مننا إن احنا نعالج مسائل مزمنة في مناطق هي الأكثر فقرا على الإطلاق في بلدنا مصر، ونغيرها تماما. ما يبقاش في بيت نسيبه، ما يبقاش في طريق نسيبه، ما يبقاش في صرف صحي ولا مية شرب لما ندخلها. لازم الدولة المصرية خلال السنتين 3 اللي جايين تبقى دولة تانية بما فيها القرى اللي احنا شغالين عليها.
حياة كريمة يعني المواطن البسيط الغلبان اللي هو بيجيب قوت يومه يوم بيوم، عاوز يحس ان هو عايش عيشة آدمية.
حياة كريمة دي يعني أحسن حاجة عملوها لنا بصراحة، يعني احنا كنا في حاجة وحشة خالص يعني.
حياة كريمة بتسمع الناس والأطفال قبل الناس الكبيرة.
كلمة حياة كريمة المواطن يمكن باصلها لشخصه، ولكن الترفيه البنية التحتية مع حياة كريمة أفضل أفضل أفضل.
المواطن البسيط العادي الغلبان اللي معه 3 4 عيال حس بالنمو وحس ان حياة كريمة انها فتحت المشاريع.
والمشروع اللي انا شغال فيه تبع مبادرة حياة كريمة، والحمد لله وفرت لنا شغل انا وجميع من الناس. يعني كنا في حالة عدم وجود فرصة عمل.
صراحة من وقت ما بنوا لنا البيت واحنا بقينا في حالة تانية، ما كناش اصلا نحلم بربع كده يعني.
صراحة اما تخش على الواقع تشوف البيت عاوز يصب تصبه، عاوز يتبني بتبنيه.
لما نشوف المحتاج ابتسم لينا، دعا لينا، شكرنا، في ناس بتعيط من الفرحه، فدي بالنسبه لنا حاجه كبيره قوي. يعني مش محتاجين حاجه بعدها والله، ولا فلوس ولا اي حاجه، احنا نازلين للناس دي، نازلين عشان خاطر السعاده بتاعتهم.
المجتمع كله هينهض ازاي؟ لما كلنا نكون كويسين. المجتمع مش فرد واحد، مجموعه افراد، فلو كلنا عايشين حياه كريمه فهيبقى المجتمع كله هيكون.
مصر دي ان شاء الله محفوظه، ومحفوظه من زمان السنين.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue à cette couverture spéciale d'aujourd'hui, du lundi 9 janvier 2022, de la première conférence de la Coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement. Alors, le président Abdel Fattah Sisi a inauguré ce matin la première conférence de la Coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement. Et cette coalition, qui regroupe quelques 24 associations, organise plusieurs activités afin de soutenir les tranches de la société les plus démunies, surtout dans les villages lointains. La coalition prône le principe de la responsabilité sociétale en adoptant le slogan « Le volontariat est une responsabilité » et en exhortant les institutions civiles à assumer un plus grand rôle dans le développement et la réforme dans les divers domaines. La Coalition nationale pour l'action civile et pour le développement organise plusieurs activités qu'adoptent les institutions civiles afin de soutenir les souches qui méritent les soins. Cette alliance fournit un service équipe humanitaire intégré. Elle estime que le volontariat est une responsabilité nationale et les volontaires de ces entités ont un rôle d'avant-garde dans chaque grand événement. Il s'agit d'une entité qui s'est persuadée que le volontariat est une responsabilité nationale et les volontaires jouent un rôle saillant dans chaque grand événement. C'est l'Alliance nationale pour l'action civile et de développement qui a été lancée le 13 mars 2022 avec la participation et l'adhésion des principales formations civiles et de développement en Égypte. Cette alliance regroupe 24 associations, institutions civiles et une entité de services et de développement. La Coalition nationale d'action pour le développement civil, en collaboration avec des institutions partenaires, offre une épopée humanitaire intégrée à travers des services fournis aux populations des villages les plus nécessiteux et joue un rôle important en soutenant les efforts du gouvernement pour soutenir les groupes ciblés de citoyens et les plus nécessiteux. Et j'ai le plaisir d'avoir avec moi en ligne Dr Raouf Ghafar, expert en économie et analyste politique, qui va nous jeter la lumière sur cette conférence. Dr Raouf Ghafar, bonjour et bienvenue. Tout d'abord, veuillez nous jeter la lumière sur cette conférence, la première conférence de la Coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement.
Une conférence importante. Les organisations civiles existent partout et ils rendent beaucoup de services à la communauté. Et maintenant qu'il y a une coalition, qu'il y a une coopération sous forme de, comment vous appelez ça, une grande unité de ces organisations non gouvernementales qui peuvent donner vraiment une poussée et un coup de main au peuple égyptien en général. L'essentiel, c'est que ce genre d'organisation existe partout et ils peuvent facilement arriver à tout le monde. Ils ont une base d'informations, ils ont déjà des clients, ils ont déjà des collaborateurs, des gens qui leur donnent des donations, etc. Donc, ils rendent service et c'est justement l'idée du président de faire un groupement de ce genre d'organisation pour que leur travail soit plus efficace et pour couvrir un plus grand nombre d'individus.
Quels sont les services, on peut dire, fournis par cette alliance? Des exemples de services, bien sûr.
si on examine le nom de ces organisations, vous pouvez facilement voir que les services s'étendent sur le plan médical, éducation, nourriture, habitation, c'est-à-dire ça touche un peu tous disons, la vie des citoyens.
Les différents secteurs du gouvernement.
Comment?
Vous voulez dire les différents secteurs?
Absolument. C'est-à-dire, ce genre d'organisation, il rend service au peuple entier et c'est important qu'il coopère avec le gouvernement justement pour mettre les différentes priorités et pour rendre le service, comme je viens de dire, plus efficace et pour toucher un plus grand nombre d'individus.
Oui, de citoyens. Quelle est la chose qui vous a attiré le plus, docteur Raouf Ghaffar, dans le mot du président Abdel Fattah el-Sisi?
C'est un président qui vraiment aime l'Égypte. Il veut le bien pour son peuple et il cherche tous les moyens pour essayer de rendre plus de services et hausser le niveau de vie de tout le monde. Donc, il fait tous ses efforts pour justement unifier tout le gouvernement avec le secteur privé pour justement augmenter le spectre de services pour les citoyens égyptiens.
Comment voyez-vous la coopération entre cette coalition et, on peut dire, nommons que, je rappelle, la coalition nationale pour l'action civile et pour le développement. Comment voyez-vous la coopération entre cette coalition et les différentes institutions du pays?
Bon, comme je viens de dire, ces organisations, elles existent et elles travaillent depuis longtemps et justement, c'est une affaire de coordination pour ne pas avoir une duplication, pour justement se mettre d'accord sur les priorités et le gouvernement sait très bien ses priorités et il va justement coopérer avec les différents, certainement, agences et institutions gouvernementales vont coopérer avec ces organisations justement pour rendre le service plus efficace pour les citoyens égyptiens et pour justement s'entraider à offrir tous les services qui manquent et même s'ils ne manquent pas pour améliorer les services sur tous les plans, comme je viens de dire, éducation, santé.
Les différents domaines.
Absolument.
Oui,
absolument.
oui. Docteur Raouf Ghaffar, je vais prendre de votre parole et vous poser cette question. Alors, le président Abdel Fattah el-Sisi a appelé les autres entités à prendre part à ces initiatives. Comment voyez-vous cet appel? Et est-ce qu'il veut jeter la lumière sur le secteur privé notamment?
Le président a signalé ça et a dit ça à plusieurs reprises que le secteur privé c'est le partenaire le plus important pour le développement.
Oui.
Et justement, ce sont les organisations qui représentent une grande partie du secteur public, privé, il existe, comme je viens de dire, partout, et ils font des services, ce qui aide au développement durable. C'est l'important, c'est que les services continuent et ne s'arrêtent pas pour une raison ou d'une autre. Et c'est ça justement la coopération qui va assurer que ce genre de service va continuer et ça va servir dans le développement durable du pays.
Docteur Raouf Gafar, nous vous remercions infiniment. Mesdames et messieurs, c'était une couverture spéciale de la première conférence de la Coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement. Merci et restez avec nous sur Nile TV International. Bonne journée et au revoir.
المرحلة القادمة من مسيرة العمل الوطني تفرض علينا وضع الإنسان المصري في مقدمة أولويات الدولة من خلال إطلاق استراتيجية شاملة لإصلاح وتطوير منظومة التعليم تتوازى مع البدء في تطبيق منظومة التأمين الصحي المتكامل.
الفترة دي هي بصراحة خطوة كويسة جدا.
كلام ولا في الأحلام.
الناس مش مصدقة نفسها.
تضافركم معانا هينجح سواء كان في التعليم أو في الصحة، والكلام ده للمفكرين والمثقفين والإعلاميين بالإضافة للمجتمع.
أي حد عنده قوائم انتظار يتصل بالرقم الساخن وربنا هيكرمه إن شاء الله.
خدمة قوائم الانتظار مع حضرتك.
لن ينجح أي نظام في الدولة المصرية، تأمين صحي، تعليم، استثمار، تنمية، إلا بالاستقرار والأمن.
صراحة حاسس بالشعب، لا في تغيير في البلد،
مس قلوب المصريين كلهم.
ادوا دفعة للنجاح وشجعوا وحطوا ايديكم معانا في ان احنا المنظومه تنجح. انا لو تخيرني بين ان انا اكل ولا اعالج دول، لا اعالج دول.
السباق للعالمية الكل بيجري عشان يوصل للهدف، للمستقبل. وعشان توصل وتنجح ويسمع العالم صوتك ويشاور عليك ويبقى اسمك رقم واحد وسط أكبر الأسماء في العالم، كان لازم نجري، نشتغل، نفكر ازاي نبدع، ازاي نتميز. وهدفنا واضح قدام عينينا، اننا في السباق مش بس نوصل لكن نسبق بخطوة. 4000 مهندس وعامل وفني من خيرة البنائين المصريين واللي أنشأوا محور تحيا مصر في مرحلته الأولى والثانية لربط الطريق الدائري بالطريق الدائري الإقليمي، بدأوا العمل في المرحلة الثانية بإنشاء كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم. وكان هدفهم من أول يوم مش إنشاء مجرد كوبري، لكن واحد من المعالم المصرية يوصلوا بيه للعالمية. وعشان يحققوا هدفهم اجتهدوا، أبدعوا، وفكروا ازاي يتميزوا في كل تفاصيله. والنهارده نجحوا بمجهودهم والتزامهم وإرادتهم إنهم يحققوا المستحيل ويقدموا أعرض كوبري ملجم في العالم ويدخلوا بيه للعالمية ويتسجل إبداعهم في موسوعة جينيس للأرقام القياسية. يمتد جسم الكوبري الرئيسي بطول 5.6 كيلومترات، بالإضافة ل 10 كيلومترات تشكل إجمالي أطوال 18 من المطالع والمنازل. يتميز ب6 حارات مرورية في كل اتجاه بطول 540 متر وعرض 67.3 متر، ويحتوي على أكبر فتحة ملاحية على النيل بعرض 300 متر. استخدم في إنشائه ما يزيد عن 1,000,000 متر مكعب من الخرسانة وأكثر من 290 ألف طن من الحديد. وبعد تجريبه طبقا للمواصفات العالمية تأكدت قدرته على تحمل أوزان تصل إلى 120 طن. كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم مش بس إنجاز عالمي، لكنه بيتميز بجماله وتفاصيله والإبداع اللي فيه، وده لأنه فيه أول ممشى زجاجي في الشرق الأوسط على جانبي الكوبري الملجم وفوق أجمل أنهار العالم نهر النيل. طول ما عينينا على العالمية هنفضل نجري، هدفنا نوصل ببلدنا لمكانتها الأولى وسط العالم. هنا كوبري تحيا مصر الملجم، بداية الطريق للعالمية.
Midi au quart, 10h GMT, Madame, Monsieur, bonjour. Voici un rappel en bref des principales nouvelles de l'actualité. Le président Abdel Fattah Sisi a inauguré ce matin la première conférence de la coalition nationale pour l'action civile et le développement. Je vous propose justement, Madame, Monsieur, à présent une retransmission en direct des travaux de la conférence.
الحكاية بدأت ببذرة.
أنا ابن الأرض دي اتولدت فيها.
علمتنا الصبر، عرفتنا معنى الحياة. بذرة طرحت خير في إيدين الشقيانين.
أرض بالنسبة لي حياتي.
بالزراعة عرفنا نفسنا.
With agriculture we know ourselves, and with the blessing of the land we found out about our skills. I've been always working in agriculture, and the Nile remembers always the Egyptians, the builders of the real civilization, and we went back to our people to reconstruct Egypt. Farming is something you can be passionate about. We will always plant good, and all this that you can see is done by the farmers, and this is the foundation of this initiative, Plant a Tree. The hope lies in agriculture. Egypt has always been an agricultural land. Agriculture is one of the main components of life, and it is the engine of development. Plant initiative under the umbrella of the National Alliance for Civil Development work to develop and support the small farmers who represent 85% of the Egyptian farmers. For the first time, we feel that there is an entity that does an initiative to support small-scale farmers. The Alliance thought of this initiative because its responsibility is development, and its role is not just limited to providing social protection or giving food and financial aid to people. So we focused on agriculture, the main element to achieve social and food security, and through agriculture we will benefit our country. We have specific objectives encouraging the small farmers to increase their productivity of the strategic crops. When we have the wheat we won't need to import it, and this is a great step we wish to achieve. Agriculture development should start with the farmer. To develop a farmer, we need to support him. The farmer is the main part of the story. And with his own hands he can turn sand into gold, and our country was built by farmers in the first place. Our role with the farmer starts through providing the seeds, the fertilizers and the inputs of agriculture to increase his productivity and his crops, and we are trying to provide extension for the player and for the farmer to raise his awareness about climate change and how to face climate change that can harm his crop. I communicated with the head of the association. He told me there is the initiative plant. The Alliance is trying to build this initiative on real needs, so we identified the problem of providing high productive seeds, and now he is going to use these modern seeds with a higher productivity. The wheat need to cover at least 2/3 of the local needs. When President Sisi said that we would reclaim 1.5 million fidans, the 1.5 million fidans increased the crop this year. And this initiative plant would increase things. We have the grassroots associations, the cooperatives, the farmers associations, the experts. They are all cooperating together. We support them, and also we do for them farming schools to provide them with the extension information. All the technical recommendations for the crop are being provided to the farmers through farming schools, seminars, and they know better than ourselves. And they tell us a lot of recommendations that help us. Plant is the way to improve the conditions of the farmers and achieve food security, because wheat is the basis of life for Egyptians. So the initiative is targeting 8 governorates in which we reached 100,000 Egyptian farmers with the objective of planting 150,000 fidans of wheat, and in the coming phases we will focus on the rest of the strategic crops. I'm confident that with the determination of the small farmers we will reach the 1 million, and this is what the whole state is seeking. In the civil society organizations, the idea was always that they are competing with each other, but when they are gathered together on the same table to think together of initiatives, we can see the resources that can be mobilized, so people also would have more confidence in the civil society. The initiatives and the support of the political leadership of the farmer would enable us even to export wheat in the future. President Sisi will make us better. And it's the farmer who would do all this, and the farmers are all so happy. This initiative would draw a better future to agriculture in Egypt. I'm confident that this initiative would be a success with the hands of our farmers. I want Egypt to depend on itself and not need others. The farmer who has 1 or 2 fidans You have the option to maximize your income if you would listen to us. We'll help you. May God support you, President. Agriculture would enable us to enjoy food security, and in the dictionary of Egyptians, nothing is impossible, and always Egypt would be protected because Egypt is the mother of the world. And now the speech of Ms. Margaret Sarofim, the head of development sector in the Anglican Coptic Association. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, good morning. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for praising the role of the Alliance. You cannot imagine how we were glad during the break. You raised our morale. Thank you very much. We are confident that the year 2022 was the year of the civil society, and by the beginning of 2023, you gave us an invitation to continue. We will continue to support the state institutions. What we did in 2022 was just a beginning. The 14 billion is just the beginning, and we promise you to continue and increase the funding, be it internal or external, and we will reach every spot in Egypt. Let me to express how honored I am to speak before you and deliver the presentation about this initiative plan. This is the initiative of the National Coalition for Civil Development Work, and let me give you an idea about the initiative. Through the presence of an entity like the National Alliance, we were encouraged when we found the suitable environment to work together and establish mutual relations and find new channels for communication, coordination, and cooperation, as well as sharing experiences. The Alliance, as we all said, gathered us all on one table to discuss how can we work together and how can we expand and increase our influence and not leave one spot of Egypt without working in it, and also benefit from the diverse experiences of all entities, associations, organizations, and invest in them to actively contribute to sustainable development. And the other thing that was mentioned before is that in the Alliance there is an opportunity to increase our dreams and to raise the threshold of our ambitions, even more than the ability of every individual organization. That's why in October 2022, the Coptic Anglican Institute, and it is a member of the National Alliance and has a field experience for 70 years working with small farmers to build their capacities and to increase their productivity and to connect them to the market. So we raised the idea of cooperating on agricultural file. As we all know that this file is so important because the agriculture sector has 25% of the manpower of Egypt. 85% of those working in the agriculture sector are small farmers. The agriculture sector was influenced, unfortunately, by climate change, and it is the sector responsible for food security, and also we have high overpopulation, so we need to secure sustainably the food commodities. And also we wanted to build an initiative in the field of agriculture that would engage the small farmers, and they would be given the opportunity and would receive the potentials that will enable them to participate in planting the strategic crops like wheat, soya, beans, and this is just the beginning. And here came the idea of this initiative plant. The initiative has put 5 strategic goals. The first is improving the income of hundreds of thousands of small farmers through increasing their productivity, reducing the production cost, the waste of crops during harvesting, providing marketing contracts. Secondly, providing the strategic crops to achieve food security, reducing the import bill, increasing the ability of small farmers to mitigate and adapt to climate change. And the fifth is seeking to protect the natural resources, especially water and soil characteristics. We launched phase 1 in November 2022, and it covered soya beans and wheat, and the phase would end by September 2023. The first phase will produce wheat with 100,000 small farmers for 150,000 fedans in 5 governorates in Upper Egypt, 3 governorates in the valley, and the initiative wants to produce 3.3 million tons of wheat and increase the productivity from 18 to 22. The initiative provides 3 main interventions, providing the subsidized feeds, the fertilizers, technical assistance, and extension, agriculture extension. And also we formed a field executive framework to provide the support to small farmers and do the follow-up for the production of the crops and checking the targets. That's why for the 100,000 farmers and 150,000 fedans, there are 822 experts and agriculture engineers in the 8 governorates. From the initiative, we can see that its approach is based on participation, mobilizing the resources and networking. The alliance encourages the small farmers to plant the strategic crops, identify the places, and on the other hand, the alliance and its organizations with the Ministry of Agriculture and its different centers, be it research centers or contractual agriculture or agriculture extension services, to provide the seeds, form agriculture extension programs, and effectuate contractual agriculture. The most important thing is the voice of the farmer. And it says that in the past 2 months, they say that this type of initiatives encourages our feeling of safety, stability, and the ability to change agriculture. What's next? Our dream is that in 2023 we increase the productivity of soya beans from 1.2 ton to 1.5 thousand tons, and to reach 500,000 small farmers to produce wheat in 1 million fedans, and also implement a plan for cultivating the rest of the crops. And let us go on air now to Abiuha village, Abu Iras in Minya Governorate, to see one of the farming schools with the engineer Hussein. Engineer Hussein Mohammed Osman, the managing director of extension in the Agriculture Directorate in Minya. Mr. President, I would like to send to you the greetings from Minya Governorate, Abu Qurqas, Abiuha village. Here we are today in one of the farming schools supported by the National Alliance through the initiative plan that supported 20,000 farmers in Minya Governorate, provided them with accredited seeds at half the cost, in addition to supporting them through the farming schools that teach the farmer the experience of good practices that would achieve the high productivity rates with the least costs, as well as increase the productivity of the fedan to reach the highest productivity. And this is one of the objectives of the initiative under the umbrella of the National Alliance. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you,
بعد
Engineer.
إذن حضرتك يا فندم نسمع
And
للتعليقات
now we
وآراء
listen
أهالينا
to
المزارعين اللي جم مخصوص
the
من أماكن مختلفة
comments of the
مشاركة والتعبير
farmers
عن
who are
آرائهم
here to express their opinions.
السلام عليكم
Peace be
ورحمة
upon
الله
you.
وبركاته. نجيب
محمدي Hassan,
قرية ميدغاريطة
Midgharita
مركز
village, Simbelawin, Daqaleh Governorate, and the head of agriculture cooperative in the village. Through the National Alliance, we saw this initiative plant and provided the wheat seeds to the small farmers at half the cost. The initiative supports the farmers who have 1 or 1.5 fiddans, because usually they used to get the old seeds, so they did not achieve high productivity. The productivity rate was 12 tons to 15 tons per fiddan. But with the initiative plant and providing them with the new seeds, God willing, will be able to achieve a productivity that ranges between 20 to 22. The initiative provides farming schools for the teachers to teach them the irrigation since the beginning of the season till the end, and we will have self-sufficiency from wheat, and Egypt would be the food basket for the whole world. Thank you. Good morning, Khalaf Aziz from Al-Minya Governorate, Saft al-Laban. Thank you, Your Excellency, President, for this initiative. I am a farmer, the son of a farmer, and I enjoy farming. This initiative made a difference for small farmers because the price of the wheat is announced once it is planted. In the beginning, we used to plant the wheat concerned what would be the price, because the price would be learned only 2 or 3 days before harvesting it. But the initiative now reassures the small farmers about the price of the wheat and provides us also with high quality accredited seeds from the Ministry of Agriculture. And it supported us also with adding to my experience. So now I know the scientific evidence of my crop. Thank you. In the name of Allah, peace be upon you. Magda Izzat Bahjat, Al-Minya Governorate, Abu Qarqas, a small farmer. We were honored to be part of this initiative. We planted soya beans this year twice due to meet the needs of the country. The first time we planted the soya beans, we produced 800 kilos. And now the initiative with the National Alliance made a contract for us, so they collected from us the soya beans. And we used to tell them that we harvested the beans, and on the next day they would give us our money. The trader would take 1 ton and 50 kilos, but the initiative takes only 1 ton, and we are able to collect our money. So we were ready for the next season, and we are able to pay for the needs of our families. Long live Egypt, long live Egypt, long live Egypt. In the name of Allah, Yusuf Muhammad Abu Hassan, Aswan Governorate, Jafra village, Darao. We are working on empowering the small palm trees farmers to provide this. We provide them with technical assistance, the seedlings to increase the palm productivity. We did a contract with the Egyptian Food Bank to provide 200 tons to the food bank to be distributed annually by the small farmers who produce dates. Your Excellency the President, I'm Safa Khalil Sheikh Ahmed. I am the chairman of Ahli Baladi Garagos Village, Minya Governor, working on the program supporting agriculture services. We support the farmers and provide them with technical assistance to increase their productivity. The project provided us with the opportunity to sign a contract with the Egyptian Food Bank to receive the dates immediately from the farmer to the bank. And also the food bank, when it came to a visit and find that we have a lot of dependent women, they said that we will work with you again, so provided me with a packing and wrapping unit to pack and wrap these dates so that they would go immediately to the food bank. And we want this unit to be a factory. Instead of providing 25 job opportunities, we can provide 250 job opportunities. Thank you. I would like to thank you and welcome you all. Many happy returns, and we are glad to hear what you just said. When you say, for example, that the Fiddan used to produce 12 and 14 tons and now it increased to 18 and 20, when we're talking about 150,000 sedans, then this would be a great value. The farmer who plants 1 or 1.5 fiddans would find the difference, but even in total, the amount would be bigger, because we always say that we will always work together. You are all working under the alliance, and we want to cooperate more on agriculture. You talked about Qina and Aswan. I will talk to you about another experience. You said that you provide more production, and also you reduce the amount of water used. And now, when you take your needs and give it to the association immediately, or sell it immediately without any supplier in the middle or any trader in the middle, then this of course saves the farmer more money. I will tell you another point regarding the waste of water. And I say this to the alliance, and I'm talking about agriculture in particular. All the initiatives, health initiatives, food initiatives are all well appreciated, but here I'm talking about agriculture in particular. We in Aswan and Sohag and in Upper Egypt, we planted 350,000 fiddans of sugar cane. Okay, you are targeting the small farmers, but I'm targeting your ability to reach out to all farmers. You have a bigger opportunity than the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture has staff and employees who cannot do exactly what you're doing, and I'm here being honest. What do I want? You're talking about 1 fiddan of sugar cane. If modern irrigation is used in planting sugarcane, then this would reduce the amount of water used. And if you say that it increases the productivity by 20 or 30 or 40%, I'm talking about sugarcane in Upper Egypt. If you would target that in cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture, the farmer leaves things in the land for 5 years. And I talked about that before. So every topic we cover, we are targeting to highlight this point. And to tell people, do not take your sugarcane fidan lightly, or do not take lightly these seeds that increase the productivity of your crop, especially if this is going to be done on a collective basis. So it is not for the benefit or one or two farmers only, but a group of farmers. And I'm talking about sugarcane in particular, because if we succeeded with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Irrigation in dealing with this, it would be great, because we want to cooperate with you in this field and all other fields. When I talked about the livestock before, she said that I produce 25 kilos of milk. Others produce 5, 6, or 7 only. Even if she gives 8 or 10 kilos to the calf, so she has 15 kilos. So when I was talking about this idea, I wanted to target things with a dream. You need 1 million heads. Some would say this might take 10 or 15 years. So if we cooperate together, this number of years would be less. And here I would like to ask you to target more farmers, and we are supporting you. And I'm referring here to the issue of sugar cane that would make the fidan reaches 70 tons or 60 tons, while it produces 40. And he will produce these tons with a smaller amount of water. So by this I've increased about 20% of the production on the same surface area, and I reduced the water consumed. So we need to work on this together for our country. And once more I would like to thank you, and we are so glad to listen to everything you did. And once more we would like to thank all Egyptian farmers. Mr. Naguib said that we would be the world food basket. Thank you. Finally, thank you, Your Excellency the President, for your continuous support, and saying that there is no statute of limitation for dreams, so we will always be working on attaining these dreams to serve our country. Thank you. Right to peace, health, environment, and sustainable development. The right of the human being to live in a safe environment for these generations and the coming ones. This is Egypt's vision for human rights, emphasized by the efforts of the National Alliance for National Development work. And now we listen to Mr. Yahya Radwan, the head of the Human Rights Committee in the Egyptian Parliament. In the name of Allah, Your Excellency President Fattah Sisi, the President of the Republic, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me, in the beginning of my speech, extend appreciation and wishes for you, for the best of Egypt, and may God crown your efforts with success to achieve the prosperity of this country with the wise leadership that realized the volume of challenges and the grave responsibilities to support these people in achieving their ambitions to a presence and a future up to the oldest civilization in the whole world, the Egyptian civilization. Distinguished guests, Allah Allah created the human being to reconstruct the earth and to raise the human values and achieve all principles with what God has gifted him with, as he is gifted with this being governing this earth. With God's will, the human being was created, and the wisdom of God is signified in the ability of this person to enjoy dignity and his right to safety and security. This great right that the human being realized since the beginning of history, and afterwards the divine religions came to emphasize them. And the communities through the different successive eras focused on securing it, and this was reflected in human rights. These principles included in the different constitutions, laws, on top of which is the international law. The movement of human beings and the human civilization through the constitutions, laws, and legislations made us include it in human rights as a main pillar to evaluate and implement programs and policies of community development, as these two objectives are closely linked to the development of the community environment in which the human being lives, to achieve effective mechanisms to secure his rights to life and all aspects of life, in a way that achieves the equation between prosperity for people, the dignity of the citizen in the community through his rights and duties. This equation that has become a sublime goal that all countries aspire to through the policies and the development plans. The state of Egypt was keen on coping with this to achieve through its legislative policies and its different laws what emphasizes this goal and secures it and would provide the guarantees needed to achieve the goal. The political leadership in different places emphasized the necessity of putting plans and needed tools to achieve fruitful, effective communication between the state represented in its institutions and the civil society organizations. The directives of His Excellency the President were made to all state institutions at the end of the Youth World Forum in its 4th edition to establish a national dialogue platform between the state, the youth, and the civil society organizations, so that this platform would put the framework for the work of these civil society and development and social organizations to achieve sustainable comprehensive development, that the state is keen on and work on emphasizing and supporting its goals, as well as adopting the participatory approach based on effectuating the role of the civil society in cooperation with the state institutions to achieve sustainable, comprehensive development in all fields, as well as raising the awareness about human rights, the culture, the objective, and the approach. And through this, the aspirations of the great people of Egypt would be achieved for a better presence and the future. And upon all that, the Code of Conduct was issued for the National Alliance for Civil Development Work with 30 entities under its umbrella, representing the more influential entities on the ground, be it institutions or civil society organizations, in addition to a number of service entities and it wanted to achieve integration and build the confidence between civil society organizations and civil institutions on one hand, as well as the state institutions on the other, to achieve maximum benefit and positive impact that would serve the Egyptian citizen and enhance the state efforts to implement the development plans and extend social protection to cover all segments of the Egyptian society. The most important thing targeted was enhancing the role of the Egyptian parliament through emphasizing and supporting the legislative role to support these entities to achieve the objectives of their activities through putting different legislations and supporting this role and would support its attempts. And now, according to all these concrete achievements on the ground, we need to move towards a legislative effective mechanism through introducing a legislation that secures the work of this alliance in an organizational framework for its effectiveness. Your Excellency, the President, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, last but not least, Egypt would always be on the right path and would keep the promises made by its leadership and its institutions to make human rights on this kind land a reality in which the human being would enjoy his dignity through the strenuous efforts exerted to achieve development on all levels and in all fields to create better standard of living and the constructive steps to support this great people of Egypt and the youth, those great potentials that would change the face of life for the better that this country deserves. May God support us all for the benefit of Egypt and for its welfare, and peace be upon you. International praises through the targets, and this summarizes the journey of the National Alliance to signing its charter in March 2022. It was able to unite all efforts to achieve Egypt's Vision 2030, and thus this National Alliance is praised on international levels. And now the speech of Ms. Leslie Reed, the Director of USAID, the United States Authority for International Development.
مساء الخير. Good afternoon.
مساء الخير.
Your Excellency, President Sisi,
فخامة رئيس السيسي، دولة رئيس الوزراء مدبولي، فضيلة الإمام الأكبر شيخ الأزهر، أصحاب المعالي السيدات والسادة الوزراء، أصحاب
Your Excellency the President, Your Excellency the Prime Minister of Egypt, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, the ministers, representatives of civil society organizations. I'm glad here to present the government of the United States before you, and I'm representing the United States Agency for International Development that supports the relations between Egypt and the United States. We are celebrating the centennial anniversary of the partnership between Egypt and the United States, and we will continue this cooperation in the future. This strategic and historical cooperation between both our countries is effective and remarkable. Hands in hands, we will make our country countries more prosperous and stronger. Over decades, this partnership tried to enhance cooperation, and we are committed to this cooperation. To be honest, we succeeded in reaping the fruits of this cooperation after the pandemic COVID-19 through the humanitarian aids that were provided, and we were able also to deal with the impacts of climate